Welcome to the fourth module of the unit Why Zero Emission Zones for Freight. My name is Elpida Xeno. I'm a research associate at the Hellenic Institute of Transport of CERT, and today I'm going to present you some directions and best practices on how to build a sustainable urban logistics plan for your city. The development and implementation of SUMs, Sustainable Urban Mobility Plans, has been strongly supported by the EU as the most important tool that a city can use in order to make more efficient use of the urban transport infrastructure and services, and in order to integrate the different mobility modes. The official guidelines were published by ELTES in 2013. Since then, however, new policy challenges have emerged regarding the urban mobility planning. Therefore, the existing SUM concept has been updated in 2019. One of the issues that had to be addressed in this attempt was also the effective and efficient distribution of goods in the cities. This is why the new topic guide for sustainable urban logistics planning has been developed, constituting a guidance tool for any city authority that wants to gain a clear understanding on their city logistics system and develop innovative city logistics planning actions. Within this topic guide, the reader may find frameworks, tools, milestones, checklists, as well as best practices. But why is it needed after all? The process of developing strategies and plans for sustainable urban logistics differentiates from the approach that is followed in urban mobility planning. The main reason why lies in the quite complex, fragmented, heterogeneous and profitable nature of the city logistics system. However, in any city logistics planning, the engagement of the stakeholders and actors is crucial for identifying the appropriate policy response and finally reaching the necessary acceptance and adaptation levels of the policy. Now, in urban logistics planning, a city authority needs to engage mainly private stakeholders with different and often conflicting needs, who their decision making is basically based in profitability and efficiency. Which means that, first of all, the parameters defining the future vision, the objectives and priorities of a plan are different than those used for passenger mobility plans. Also, this for-profit character is to a large extent responsible for the fact that public authorities currently have a low understanding of the commercial dynamics of freight distribution. Taking also into consideration the reluctance of the private stakeholders in providing data of their operation, it is quite difficult for a policy planner to propose standard measures suitable for different urban contexts, as well as to develop a common understanding about future expectations. So, the current challenges in city logistics planning is to engage in long-term the private stakeholders, co-define the strategy, enrich the capacity in the city authorities, and monitor and assess effectively the progress made towards a more sustainable city logistics sector. And this is where this new topic guide for sustainable urban logistics planning comes from. However, as city logistics is part of the city's overall mobility landscape, any attempt to study it in isolation from the general city's environment would be wrong. Therefore, the research approach for developing guidelines for SUMs was initially based on the SUM development cycle and the main principles of the general SUM concept. Taking, however, the complexity and fragmented nature of the city logistics sector, it was found necessary to either merge or skip some steps when developing a SUM, and so this topic guide provides a set of stepwise guidelines for the presented 8 implementation steps.